Alright, my fellow Oregairu fans, you asked for it, and here it is. The evolution of our favorite social outcast turned reluctant hero, Hikigaya Hachiman. From his dark, lonely days in middle school, to his unexpected transformation into a key player in the service club, we're diving deep into how this lone wolf slowly found his pack. So buckle up for a journey through Hachiman's growth, both painful and inspiring. Let's start with middle school, a time when Hachiman was already rocking that "I'm over this" attitude. But let's be real, he wasn't just born a cynic. His isolation in middle school was the result of some harsh social lessons. Rejected, misunderstood, and often the butt of jokes, young Hachiman learned the hard way that standing out usually meant getting knocked down. So, he did what any self-respecting introvert would do. He withdrew, retreating into his own mind, where it was safer. His experiences built a wall around him, brick by brick. By the time high school rolled around, Hachiman had perfected his lone wolf persona. But this wasn't just some edgy teenage phase. This was a survival tactic. If no one gets close, no one can hurt you, right? But as we know, life had other plans for Hachiman. Fast forward to high school, where fate, or rather his teacher Hiratsuka-sensei, threw him into the service club alongside Yukinoshita and Yuigahama. Now this is where things get interesting. The lone wolf was forced to work with others, and not just anyone. Yukino, the queen of ice, and Yui, the ball of sunshine. Talk about opposites attracting. At first, Hachiman treated the club like just another chore, approaching problems with his usual whatever gets the job done attitude. But over time, something began to shift. Working with Yukino and Yui, Hachiman started to see the value in teamwork, even if he'd never admitted out loud. Slowly, his actions began to reflect a guy who wasn't just solving problems to get them out of the way, but someone who actually cared about the outcome. Now let's talk about those walls Hachiman built around himself. Throughout the series, we see cracks forming in that tough exterior. One of the biggest breakthroughs happens when Hachiman makes those infamous self-sacrificial decisions. Whether it's taking the fall to maintain peace, or being brutally honest to force a resolution. These aren't just acts of cynicism. They're Hachiman's twisted way of protecting others, even if it means hurting himself. As he begins to care more about his friends, we see Hachiman questioning his own methods. He starts to realize that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than simply surviving. He's still the same Hachiman, but now there's a glimmer of hope, a willingness to connect, even if it scares him. By the time we reach the final arcs, Hachiman's evolution is undeniable. He's gone from a guy who wouldn't trust anyone to someone who, despite his grumblings, genuinely values his friendships with Yukino and Yui. The service club isn't just a club anymore, it's a family. And Hachiman, in his own awkward way, becomes the glue holding them together. Sure, Hachiman's still rough around the edges, and he hasn't completely shed his lone wolf skin. But the growth is there. He's learned that being part of a team doesn't mean losing yourself. It means finding strength in others, and sometimes letting them find strength in you. So there you have it, the evolution of Hikigaya Hachiman, from middle school outcast to high school team player. His journey shows us that even the most stubborn lone wolves can find their pack, and that growth doesn't mean changing who you are, but discovering who you can be. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hachiman's character, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, what moment do you think marked Hachiman's biggest turning point? See you in the next video.